There was a time he would have bled for people without them even asking. He would have run to their storms without thinking about his own rain. He gave his laughter while swallowing his sadness. He made sure everyone else was okay, even when he wasn't. Even close, he gave and gave and gave until there was nothing left in him, and when the day came where he finally needed someone to show up, no one came, no one even noticed. He was breaking, no one heard the quiet in his voice when it used to be loud. No one saw how hollow his eyes had become. No one even asked if he was okay. And that's when something inside him changed, not like an explosion, more like a silent shift, like a door closing quietly in the back of your mind. And he realized he wasn't being selfless. He was being used not just by others, but by his own fear of being alone. And it hit him. He had taught people how to treat him by always putting them first. He remembered how he had begged people to stay without using words, how he had done everything right only to be left behind, how he gave pieces of himself so they could feel whole while he felt emptier every day. He remembered the nights he sat by his phone, waiting for a reply that never came, the fake smiles, the forced strength, the way he made excuses for their silence, while quietly killing his own self-worth. He remembered how he convinced himself he was too much or not enough, depending on who left that week. He remembered apologizing for being hurt and hiding his pain so they wouldn't feel guilty. And when he finally broke, he broke silently because he knew no one would care loud enough to listen. And in that silence, he found the answer. He wasn't broken because he was weak. He was broken because he cared too much and received too little. And he realized the only person who never left him was himself. He saw himself in the mirror, and for the first time in years, he didn't see someone unworthy. He saw someone tired, someone loyal, someone exhausted from loving louder than he was ever loved. And that's when he made the most painful decision of his life. He chose himself not out of ego, but out of survival, not to hurt others, but to finally heal, not because he stopped loving them, but because he finally started loving himself. He stopped over-explaining his intentions. He stopped chasing conversations that died without him. He stopped fighting for people who wouldn't even lift a finger for him. He stopped watering relationships that only drained him. And he sat in that loneliness. And instead of running from it, he listened to it. He let it teach him what he truly deserved. He let it hurt, and he let it cleanse him like fire burning through dead wood. He let it make him new, not bitter but wiser, not colder but clearer, not heartless but finally whole. World noticed the difference. They said he changed. They said he stopped caring. They said he wasn't the same. And he smiled because for once they were right. He wasn't the same man who used to beg for crumbs of affection. He wasn't the same man who feared being alone, so he accepted being disrespected. He wasn't the same man who needed validation from people who never saw his value. No, now he walked differently. Not with pride, but with peace. Now he spoke less, but meant more. Now he trusted slower, but loved deeper. Now he knew that anyone who deserved a place in his life would never make him feel like a burden in theirs. And when people came back, when they remembered how soft his heart was, when they missed the version of him that would have done anything for them, he didn't lash out. He didn't seek revenge. He simply didn't open the door because he knew those same people would just leave it swinging again. And he had spent too many nights cleaning up the damage from people who never stayed long enough to see the mess they made. He remembered how much it hurt to be forgotten by people he would have died for. And now he wasn't dying for anyone. He was living for himself. He started to rebuild his soul like a man patching holes in a sinking ship. No longer waiting for rescue, he picked up every shattered piece and placed it back where it belonged, and every scar, every heartbreak. Every betrayal became bricks in the wall that protected the man he was becoming, not walls to shut people out, but walls to keep his peace in the man he was becoming didn't beg. He didn't chase. He didn't cry over closed doors. He knocked once. And if there was no answer, he moved on with silence and dignity. The man he was becoming didn't give endless chances to people who had shown they'd waste them. He didn't argue to be understood by those committed to misunderstanding him. He didn't lose sleep over people who slept peacefully after hurting him. He didn't romanticize loyalty from those who never even showed up. He didn't glorify suffering for the sake of love, because he had learned that love without respect is poison, and kindness without boundaries is self-destruction. Chose himself, and it was the hardest thing he ever had to do, because he still loved deeply. He still remembered birthdays. He still had hope in his chest, but now he gave that love to himself first. Now he was loyal to his peace, his growth, his healing. Now he remembered his own birthday. Now he celebrated his own wins. Now he kept the promises he once broke to himself. And in that space, in that sacred quiet space where he put his heart back together, he found a kind of strength no applause could give him and no betrayal could take away. They still talk about him, some with confusion, some with guilt, some with regret. They wonder why he doesn't reach out, why he's so distant, why he seems like a ghost of the man they once knew. But the truth is, he didn't disappear. He simply became too whole for the places that once broke him too, healed for the hands that once dropped him, too focused to look back at the chaos that used to consume him. And they'll never understand the nights he sat alone rewriting the narrative of his life. They'll never understand how hard it was to unlove the people he once saw as family, how it almost killed him to finally stop giving. They'll never see the tears that fell behind the closed doors, or the silent breakdowns between his smiles. But he knows, and that's enough, because now when he walks into a room, he brings his peace with him, not his wounds. Now when he listens, he doesn't absorb the chaos. Now when he speaks, it's not to prove himself. It's to protect his energy. Now when he loves, it's not to fill a void. It's to share an overflow. And if someone walks away, he doesn't run after them. He doesn't collapse. He doesn't question his worth. He simply whispers thank you and lets the door close gently. Is the man who chose himself after giving everything to everyone. He is the man who finally realized that being the strong one doesn't mean carrying everyone, it means carrying yourself first. He is the man who finally understood that you can love people from a distance, you can forgive without reconnecting, and you can walk away even while your heart still cares. He is the man who will never again beg to be seen, because now he sees himself, and that changes everything. And maybe he still hurts on some days. Maybe the memories still echo in quiet hours. Maybe he still wonders why people he loved so hard loved him so little. But he doesn't let that stop him anymore, because now he doesn't need closure. He doesn't need explanations. He doesn't need apologies that never came. He just needs his own truth. And he holds that truth like armor. He wears it without shame. He is not the man they used to know. He is not the boy who broke for everyone else. He is not the soul that begged for scraps. He is the man who rose from his own ashes, who chose healing over history and peace over people. And if that makes him harder to reach, so be it, because the man who once gave everything to everyone has finally given something to himself. and this time he is not letting it go.